Sylvia's Kitchen. Today we have a new recipe for you, and it's called Galinha Piri Piri or Piri Piri Chicken. And I'm going to go through the steps. Very easy to make, and this is absolutely delicious. What we do is we marinate the chicken overnight in different sauces and a marinade that I'll show you how to make. And then we roast the chicken over a bed of onions and potatoes the next day. It is absolutely delicious, and it has just enough spice to make everyone happy with the flavors. Shout out to my mom, because she made me this new apron.
It's very nice.
It's very Portuguese looking, and I absolutely love it. So thank you, Ma. I am wearing your apron. In fact, I'll make this the apron I wear whenever I do these cooking videos. So without any further delay, let's get started, and I'll tell you what you need in order to make the marinade for Piri Piri chicken or Galinha Piri Piri. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you how to make the marinade for Piri Piri chicken. It uses things you probably already have in your spice cabinet. First off, paprika. If you have paprika as well as smoked paprika, use them both. I only have regular paprika, so that's what I'm running with. Some chili powder. In this case, I'm using dark chili powder. Italian seasonings, don't question me, it works. Then I am using Red Hot Original multi-spice. You can also use Goya, but you do need a little bit of an element of multi-spice here to kind of bring out the flavors in the marinade. I am going to use minced garlic, but you're certainly welcome to take 5 or 6 cloves of garlic and dice them yourself for this marinade. I am also going to use concentrated lemon juice, which if you've been watching my videos, you know I have a special affinity for. You can certainly use about about a quarter to a half cup of fresh lemon juice if you prefer. Next, always the olive oil. Any kind of olive oil will do. And then, of course, you want your pepper or hot sauce of choice. Any hot sauce, any Piri Piri, whether it be Portuguese, Italian, or any other flavor or brand. My favorite is Frank's Red Hot, and I have the original here. But I've also discovered this new Red Hot thick sauce, which tastes just like the original, but has a thicker consistency. I'm going to try a blend of both because I really want to marinate the chicken. I really want the chicken to be swathed in all of these different spices. And of course, I have my coarse ground sea salt. You'll see that I have measured out the amounts here. Now that you know what I'm using, I'll show you how we pull it together. So let's get the marinade started. I have my chicken here just waiting for it. First thing I'm going to do is to take my concentrated lemon juice. I'm going to use about a half cup to about a half a cup. Yeah, and I have little markers in here, so
Just
I'm
sounds
judging.
like half a cup.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, wait, oh boy. That's the biggest half cup in the world. Check it out. That's massive. Okay, we're going to call that half a cup.
Let's not be snarky.
It's half a cup. Trust me. No, it's half a cup.
Next, a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Everything Portuguese needs a little bit of azeite. Um pouco de azeite. Isto sumo de limão. Tanto copo de sumo de limão. I will mix the Portuguese in with the English so you don't have to hear me say everything twice.
But quick question. Will that be going in the fridge to marinate? Yes?
Yes.
And the oil won't congeal?
It's fine.
Okay.
It's got a lot of lemon in there.
Oh, true enough. Lots of acid.
So we have here the garlic. You will use a substantial amount of garlic. This is 1, 2, and 3 tablespoons. You can certainly add more or less to your taste. And as I said, a couple of cloves, anywhere from 3 to 6 cloves, dice them up and put it. So I now have my lemon juice, I have my olive oil, and I would say I estimated maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons total of the olive oil, and I have my garlic. Next, I have at least 3 tablespoons of the dark chili powder.
Looks like a good quarter cup.
Maybe.
That's quite a bit. It's a nice healthy amount.
These are half cup saucers, so this is about a 2 tablespoon serving of the paprika. If you have smoked paprika, you can use a little less of the chili powder and just use paprika as well as the smoked paprika. This is a tablespoon and maybe a teaspoon together of Italian seasonings. Here is just 1 tablespoon and maybe 1 teaspoon of my spice mix. Remember, I use Red Hot Original seasoning blend. You can use Sazon Goya. You can use anything you like. Next up, I have here what is a quarter cup of Frank's Red Hot sauce mixed with a teaspoon no, 2 teaspoons of the thick one. I am just going to blend this up a little bit. Smells awesome. This might not even be hot enough for my husband and I. Dwayne and I are spice lovers. So as I look at this recipe, I'm realizing, it's not going to cut it for us. So you don't have to do this part, but I'm doing it for us and adding another couple tablespoons. And of course,
that's fine. We can add some later too, if we have to. So
okay,
let's see how we're looking. You're going to start mixing and I'll...
Yep, start mixing
and you
the
mix
marinade.
up.
I'm going to get this.
I'm surprised you don't use the little whisk type mix.
I don't need to.
That's enough. Okay. It looks very spicy.
Our marinade smells heavenly. And remember, when you're mixing this, this is when you say to yourself, okay, I like things really spicy. More pepper. Põe mais pimenta se gostas da galinha picante. Galinha piri piri tem que ser picante. A piri piri chicken is chicken that's meant to be made with a hot sauce. So use the hot sauce that you like and flavor it as much or as little as you like to spice up your meals. I have not added salt yet. I'm going to add just 2 pinches of salt to the marinade right now.
And it's the coarse salt you like to use.
The coarse sea salt. People may ask, do I put wine in it now? No, we're going to add the wine right before we roast when everything is in the roasting dish.
Oh, so it doesn't marinate in the wine. I would have expected it to.
It cooks, it roasts in the wine with the vegetables.
You use a white wine?
Yep.
Yeah.
But that'll be in the next part of the video.
Okay.
All right, so now we have what I would call a nice, zesty, thick
let me see that spoon. Because I am going to test the spoon. See, I tasted it. It was good.
And now the spoon's going into the sink.
Yes.
Okay.
But it was nice and it had a good kick to it. A nice acid level. Lots of that lemon juice, the concentrate, did its job. And a bit of... We're fine with the pepper. We could possibly even go higher. But we'll just go with this because, hey, if I needed pepper later, we add pepper later.
Okay, so I've explained how to make the marinade. Now we're going to, I will say, massage the chicken with all of this delicious marinade. And then I don't like things to marinate so they're swimming in a bowl. That doesn't work. You want to get as much of that smushed into the tightly packed chicken. So once the chicken is all like slathered in it the way I like, it will marinate in this bag, so no air and no pooling. I want this marinade to stick to this chicken. I have poked the chicken in a few locations so those juices will penetrate through the skin. Trimmed a little of the fat, and these are what we call chicken quarters. It is the thigh and the drumstick. It's a lot of meat, and you can make as much of this in a bigger dish as you want. This is, of course, designed to be 3 or maybe 6 servings, depending on how much chicken you eat. So let's show you what we do. But before that, in Portuguese, just as a reminder, a gente usa plural, a gente usa, não sei como se diz, chili powder, mas chili powder. Isto é tempero italiano. Isto pode ser a goia ou tempero que já vem misturado com muitos temperos. Isto é o alho picado, isto é o azeite, e isto é a Piri Piri, a marca de Piri Piri que eu gosto aqui na América, sumo de limão e o sal. Está tudo aqui misturado. A gente põe o sumo de limão com o azeite e o alho aqui e depois os temperos por cima. Now I'm going to slather this marinade over this chicken. I'm going to just do it in the same thing that I'll end up cooking it in tomorrow, but I will put it in either overnight or just for a few hours in that bag. I estimate a good marinade for this about 6 hours, so if you extend that, it's only going to be more flavorful. It's okay, but this is what I'm going to do. All right, so I am going to pour. Look at the rich color. Look at the garlic. I can smell the pepper and spice. I can smell the Italian seasonings, and I'm not going to waste 1 drop of this. In fact,
you're going to have your fingers inside the chicken anyways. You may as well use them instead of...
No, thank you.
Okay.
I have gloves on.
That's what I'm saying. You just reached into the bowl with your gloves on.
No, my hands are not spoons. They're fingers. I don't have webbed fingers. All right. I hate this part. I don't like touching meat. Yes, now you know the truth.
Ah, see? The truth finally comes out.
Watch this. Turn and turn, twist, shove, massage, You want this on the skin. You want this under the skin. You want this stuff all over. Look at this. It's smelling so good. And when I show you how we roast this tomorrow over a bed of potatoes and onions, it'll really pop. There is nothing like a bed of potatoes and onions with this sauce seeped into it as the chicken roasts. And I'll show you all of that once we get to the point where we are actually roasting and preparing this for the oven. Look at this.
Okay, let me come in close. We'll take a look.
I could do a little more massaging. But ultimately, you do want to get this sauce all over this chicken.
And it's going to marinate in the bag where there's going to be no airspace, so it'll be nice and it'll touch everything for a while. Right. So you keep your gloves on, I'll do the bag.
Oh, perfect. So here we are with our chicken, now in a gallon-sized storage bag with all of the chicken massaged and placed with the additional marinade that was left over. Remove as much air as possible. Continue to press and massage more of that sauce. When you put it in a nice bag like this, it really sticks. The marinade really sticks to the meat. You want the marinade to stick to that chicken. You don't want it just like floating in a bowl with the marinade on the bottom. I want to marry the chicken with this marinade. I will now refrigerate it. If you only have a few hours and you do this in the afternoon, yeah, you can throw this in the oven at around 4 or 5 hours after marinating, or you can just do it the next day. Totally up to you. The longer you do marinate it, the more the flavors marry. It doesn't reach a certain level of intensity the longer and the more you do it. It just gets more robust, I think, overall. And we're now ready to pop this in the fridge, and I'll see you when it's ready for the oven. And
all this sauce will go into when you cook? Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Okay, so it's the next day. There is my marinated chicken, Piri Piri chicken with the marinade. And I have already sliced, peeled and sliced 3 large onions, 1 red one and 2 yellow ones, and about 4 russet potatoes, peeled and also sliced. You can use any potato. Red skin potatoes with the skin would work fine. Any kind of onion is also fine. And I'm going to show you how to layer it in this roasting pan, roasting dish, casserole dish, either, and what goes first and how it's layered before you place this in the oven. Okay, so I have this rather large casserole dish, and of course I have my chicken, which has been marinating overnight, my potatoes, and my onions, and I also have a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of white wine, whatever's left in the bottle, and a little bit of chicken broth. But let me show you what we do first. First, take your roasting pan or casserole dish, and just because we're going to put the first layer of potatoes on here first, I don't want anything to stick. And I do want to mention the potatoes will not get crispy in this dish. It's not meant to be that kind of potato dish, but they will absorb and take on a lot of the flavors from the marinade that we placed on our chicken. I'm going to put the first layer of potatoes all across the bottom here. And I may have cut up too much and a little more potato-y thinking than I really need, but we'll see. And if there's too much, then I will end up just using the potatoes for another dish later today. But you see, I'm just kind of layering these potatoes across the bottom. A little overlap. I will show you in a minute what it looks like. There's the potatoes, and I'm still adding a few more layers. There we go. That looks like a nice thick layer. You know what? I think I just about nailed how much potato, really. I think this is good. Next, a little bit of coarse ground sea salt. These are potatoes. They will need some salt. We're really not going to spice up the potatoes with much else, though. So there we go. Now, some onions. I like my onions sliced like this and into rounds. I like them to retain a good amount of oniony substance. I don't want them to dissolve and turn into, you know, little mushy onions. I like onions, cooked onions. I'm not a fan of raw onion. That's more Dwayne's department. But anyway, put the layer of onions here. There we go. There's nothing like potato and onion soaked in this fabulous marinade sauce that we're going to show you in a minute. Potatoes and onions together are just such a combo, especially when you cook it with the spices Portuguese style, you know? All right. This is looking pretty good. I'll just throw a few more of these slices on here. And I think I'm in pretty good shape onion-wise. There we go. I'm going to actually throw some of these onions in the corners here. Maybe another sliver of potato in the corner here. This is that. I can hear my oven preheating. This is going to go into the oven at 425 degrees for about an hour, and then we'll take it out and see how we're doing. You know, you may have to put both back in for a little bit, or you may have to take out the chicken and just cook the potatoes, but we'll see what it looks like after an hour, and I'll show you what we do now with. This is what it looks like. Potatoes with onions underneath, layered, the chicken on top. Now, to kind of help the cooking process, a little bit of wine, a little bit. I would say this is about a half cup, and that's just about never too much, right? So I'll pour the wine right in there, and then a little bit of chicken broth. There goes the wine cork. A little bit of chicken broth again. You know, we don't want a soupy potato, but we want the potato to absorb all of these flavors. That's it. It's ready for the oven. This is going to go into the oven at 425 degrees. And I'm going to cook it for 1 hour. And then check. The secret here is to make sure you don't overcook the chicken and make sure the potatoes are cooked. So we'll put it in for an hour, come back, check, and we'll take it from there. It's about almost an hour. I'm going to take it out, move things around, check the chicken, but I can tell the potatoes are not finished, so I'll figure out what I'm going to do. But first, out of the oven. Wow. So I poked around. Potatoes need a little bit of time, but the chicken is not overcooked. I will cover it with foil and put it back in at a lower temp and check the potatoes after 15 minutes.
A bit of it just not quite connecting something. No problems, right? Yeah.
And we're here for lunch. Nice fresh Piri Piri chicken. I think it's gonna make your nose run and make your mouth on fire.
Okay.
That's what it's supposed to be, Piri Piri chicken. All right. What do you think? Looks good, huh?
Looks beautiful. I got sold. The only thing I have to buy is the sweet potato.
Because I want to see how it tastes.
Okay.
I did the video. That's my plate.
You take a bite. See how good.
Not bad.
Not too spicy?
No.
Good, perfect.
Come back in a minute, take another picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll see.
Looks good to me.